I never thought I'd be sharing a story like this, but here I am. My name is Helen, 32F, and I've been married to Anthony, 34M, for 5 wonderful years. Our love story began in college, where we met during a volunteer event for a local animal shelter. Anthony was the quiet, thoughtful type who surprised me with his dry wit and kind heart. I was immediately drawn to him, and after a few months of friendship, we started dating. After graduation, we both landed jobs in our hometown, Anthony as a software engineer and me as a high school English teacher. We dated for 3 years before Anthony proposed during a hike to our favorite spot overlooking the city. It was simple, intimate, and perfectly us. We got married a year later in a small ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. Our marriage has always been built on trust, love, and mutual respect. We've had our ups and downs, like any couple, but we've always faced challenges together. We don't have kids yet, but we've been talking about starting a family soon. Anthony's been putting in extra hours at work, hoping for a promotion that would give us more financial stability before we take that next step. Last week was our 5th wedding anniversary, and we decided to celebrate by hosting a small dinner party at our home. We invited about 15 of our closest friends and family members. Among the guests was my best friend since college, Caroline, 31F. Caroline and I have a long history together. We met on our first day of college when we were assigned as roommates. We hit it off immediately, bonding over our shared love of classic literature and terrible reality TV shows. She was there for me through my first heartbreak, celebrated with me when I got my teaching job, and was my maid of honor at my wedding. Caroline works as a graphic designer and has always been the more outgoing and adventurous one in our friendship. Caroline has been single for the past year, having gone through a messy breakup with her long-term boyfriend. She's been struggling with it, often telling me how much she envies my relationship with Anthony. I've always tried to be there for her, offering support and encouragement as she navigated the dating world again. The evening of our anniversary party started off great. Anthony was manning the grill in the backyard, showing off the skills he'd been honing over the past few summers. I was mingling with our guests, making sure everyone had drinks and was enjoying themselves. Caroline arrived fashionably late, as usual. She hugged me tightly and whispered congratulations in my ear before moving on to chat with other guests. About an hour into the party, I noticed that Caroline was spending a lot of time near Anthony at the grill. At first, I didn't think much of it. They've always gotten along well, often discussing books or debating current events. I figured they were just catching up. As the night progressed, however, I started to feel uneasy. Caroline seemed to be following Anthony around, laughing a little too loudly at his jokes, and finding excuses to touch his arm or shoulder. I tried to brush it off, telling myself I was just being paranoid. But then I overheard Caroline asking Anthony if he wanted to catch up properly somewhere quieter. Anthony politely declined, saying he needed to tend to the grill, but Caroline was persistent. I decided to keep a closer eye on the situation. Throughout the evening, Caroline kept finding ways to be near Anthony. She offered to help with the grilling, brought Anthony drinks, and even tried to get him to dance when someone put on some music. Anthony was clearly becoming uncomfortable with the attention, but he remained polite and tried to deflect Caroline's advances without causing a scene. At one point, I saw Caroline cornering Anthony near the bathroom. She was standing way too close, and Anthony looked visibly uncomfortable. I decided to intervene and asked Anthony to help me in the kitchen. As we walked away, I could see the relief on his face. The party finally wound down, and our guests started to leave. Caroline was among the last to go. As she was saying goodbye, she gave Anthony a lingering hug that lasted way too long. I could see Anthony tensing up, trying to end the hug, but Caroline held on. When they finally separated, Caroline winked at Anthony and said, "We should hang out more often, just the two of us." After everyone left, Anthony and I sat down to talk about what had happened. He admitted that he had felt uncomfortable with Caroline's behavior all night but didn't want to cause a scene or upset me by saying anything. We both agreed that Caroline's actions were inappropriate and crossed a line. Now, I'm left feeling hurt, confused, and angry. Caroline is my best friend, and I've known her for years. I never would have expected this kind of behavior from her. Anthony and I are on the same page about the situation, but we're unsure how to proceed. I'm also worried about how this will affect my friendship with Caroline. We've been through so much together, and I don't want to lose her over this. But at the same time, I can't ignore what happened. Caroline's behavior was disrespectful to both Anthony and me, and it put a damper on what should have been a special celebration of our marriage. I keep replaying the events of that night in my head, wondering if I missed any signs before. Caroline has always been friendly with Anthony, but never to this extent. Is it possible that she's been harboring feelings for Anthony all this time? The thought makes me feel sick. Anthony has been incredibly supportive throughout all of this. He's assured me that he has no interest in Caroline and that he's committed to our marriage. I trust Anthony completely, but I'm still struggling with feelings of insecurity and anger. I'm also concerned about how this might affect our friend group. We all hang out together regularly, often having game nights or weekend barbecues. Now I'm dreading the next time we'll all be in the same room. How am I supposed to act around Caroline? How will Anthony feel? I've been losing sleep over this, trying to figure out the best way to handle the situation. Part of me wants to confront Caroline directly and tell her how inappropriate her behavior was. Another part of me wonders if I should try to talk to her more gently, to understand what led to her actions. I'm also worried about Anthony. He seems to be handling it well, but I know he's uncomfortable with confrontation. I don't want to put him in an awkward position, but I also feel like we need to address this issue head-on. This situation has brought up some insecurities I thought I had dealt with long ago. In high school, I had a boyfriend who ended up leaving me for my then best friend. It took me a long time to trust again after that, and Anthony was a big part of helping me overcome those trust issues. Now, I find myself questioning everything again. I've also been thinking about Caroline's recent struggles with her love life. Could her behavior be a result of her loneliness and envy of my relationship? It doesn't excuse her actions, but it might explain them. Anthony and I have always prided ourselves on our strong communication, but this situation has really put that to the test. We've had several late-night conversations about it, trying to figure out the best way forward. Anthony has been incredibly patient, listening to my fears and reassuring me of his love and commitment. I'm also struggling with feelings of guilt. Should I have noticed Caroline's behavior earlier in the night and put a stop to it? Did I somehow give her the impression that this kind of behavior was okay? Logically, I know it's not my fault, but I can't help second-guessing every interaction I've had with Caroline over the years. Has anyone else ever been in a similar situation? How did you handle it? I could really use some advice on how to navigate this mess without destroying my friendship or causing unnecessary drama. At the same time, I want to make it clear that this kind of behavior is not okay and won't be tolerated in the future. Update 1: It's been about a week since my original post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone for their advice and support. It really helped me gather the courage to address this situation. After much discussion with Anthony, we decided that I needed to talk to Caroline directly. I invited her out for coffee, just the two of us. We met at the little cafe where we used to study during college, a place filled with memories of late-night cram sessions and heartfelt conversations. As soon as Caroline walked in, I could tell she sensed something was off. We've always been able to read each other well, a skill honed over years of friendship. We ordered our usual drinks, a latte for me and a chai tea for her, and found a quiet corner to talk. I took a deep breath and told Caroline everything I had observed at our anniversary party. As I spoke, I could see a mix of emotions flash across her face: shock, embarrassment, and finally, shame. She was quiet for a long time after I finished, just staring into her coffee cup. The silence was deafening, filled with the weight of unspoken words and emotions. Finally, she looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "Helen," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I am so sorry. I don't know what came over me that night." She went on to explain that she had been feeling incredibly lonely and depressed lately. The recent breakup with her ex-boyfriend had hit her harder than she let on, and seeing Anthony and me so happy together had stirred up a lot of complicated emotions. Caroline confessed that she had started drinking heavily that night before even arriving at our party. She said she didn't remember much of what happened, but she was horrified by her actions. "I would never intentionally try to come between you and Anthony," she said, tears streaming down her face. "You're my best friend, and I love you both so much. I can't believe I acted that way." We spent the next couple of hours talking, our drinks long forgotten. Caroline shared more about her struggles with depression and alcohol, which she had been hiding from everyone. She admitted that she had been using drinking as a coping mechanism for her loneliness and insecurities. She kept apologizing for her actions and assured me that she would seek help. The next day, Caroline called me. Her voice was shaky, but there was a note of determination in it. She told me that she had made an appointment with a therapist and was going to attend her first AA meeting that evening. She also said she wanted to apologize to Anthony in person, if we were comfortable with that. Anthony and I had another long talk that night. We both felt relieved to understand the context behind Caroline's behavior, but we also knew that it didn't excuse her actions. We agreed that we would give Caroline a chance to apologize and make amends, but we also needed to set clear boundaries moving forward. A few days later, Caroline came over to our house. She apologized to Anthony, taking full responsibility for her inappropriate behavior. Anthony was gracious but firm, telling Caroline that while he valued her friendship, her actions had made him uncomfortable and couldn't happen again. Caroline promised that she was committed to getting help and making changes in her life. She said she understood if we needed space and that she would respect whatever boundaries we set. As for our friend group, we've decided to take a break from group gatherings for a while. Caroline needs time to focus on her recovery, and Anthony and I need time to process everything that's happened. We've told our closest friends a simplified version of events, asking for their understanding and support during this time. This whole experience has been a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm still processing everything. I'm grateful for Anthony's unwavering support and for Caroline's willingness to take responsibility and seek help. I hope that with time and effort, we can all heal from this and move forward. The past week has been filled with a lot of self-reflection for me. I've been thinking about my friendship with Caroline and how I might have missed signs that she was struggling. Anthony and I have also been having deep conversations about our relationship and our future. This situation has made us realize how important it is to always be honest with each other, even about difficult topics. For now, we're taking things one day at a time, supporting each other and hoping for the best. It's been a challenging week, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll come out stronger on the other side. Update 2. It's been about a month since my last update, and things have continued to evolve. I wanted to share what's been happening and how we're all coping with the situation. Caroline has been fully committed to her recovery and personal growth. She's been attending therapy sessions twice a week and hasn't missed a single AA meeting. Last week, she proudly showed me her 30-day sobriety chip. It was a small gesture, but I could see how much it meant to her. The change in her demeanor is noticeable. She seems more grounded and at peace with herself. As for our friendship, we're slowly rebuilding trust. We've been meeting for coffee once a week, just the two of us. These meetings were awkward at first, with both of us unsure how to navigate our new dynamic. But as the weeks have gone by, we've started to find our rhythm again. Caroline has been incredibly open about her journey, sharing both her struggles and her small victories. Anthony and I have been focusing on our relationship and supporting each other through this challenging time. We've had many long talks about what happened and how it affected us. Anthony admitted that the incident made him realize how much he values our relationship and how important it is to maintain strong boundaries with friends. We've been working on reassuring each other and strengthening our communication. One unexpected outcome of this whole mess is that it's prompted us to have some serious discussions about our future. We've decided to start trying for a baby. It feels like the right time, and we both agree that this experience has only made our bond stronger. Our friend group has been supportive, although it's been a bit awkward. We finally had a small gathering last weekend, including Caroline. Everyone was walking on eggshells at first, not sure how to address the elephant in the room. But Caroline, to her credit, addressed it head-on. She apologized to the group for her behavior and shared that she's been working on herself. It helped ease the tension, and we were able to enjoy each other's company. Caroline's openness about her struggles has had an unexpected ripple effect in our friend group. 2 other friends have since confided in me about their own issues with alcohol, inspired by Caroline's courage to seek help. It's made me realize how many people might be silently struggling, and how important it is to create a supportive environment where people feel safe to ask for help. Anthony and Caroline have had a few conversations of their own. Anthony told me that while it was uncomfortable at first, he appreciates Caroline's sincere efforts to make amends. They're not back to the easy friendship they had before, but there's a mutual respect that I hope will continue to grow. As for me, I'm still processing everything. There are moments when I'm hit with a wave of hurt or anger about what happened, but they're becoming less frequent. I'm learning to balance being supportive of Caroline's recovery while also protecting my own emotional well-being. This experience has taught me a lot about the complexities of friendships and human emotions. I've learned that sometimes the people closest to us can surprise us in both good and bad ways. I've also learned the importance of setting clear boundaries and communicating openly, even when it's uncomfortable. Moving forward, Anthony and I are planning a weekend getaway to reconnect and celebrate our decision to start trying for a family. Caroline has thrown herself into her graphic design work, even landing a big new client recently. She says focusing on her career and her recovery has given her a new sense of purpose. While this whole situation has been challenging, I'm cautiously optimistic about the future. We're all taking it one day at a time, supporting each other, and working towards healing and growth. It's not always easy, but I believe we're on the right path. Update 3. It's been 6 months since this whole ordeal began, and I wanted to give one final update on how things have turned out for everyone involved. Anthony and I are thrilled to share that I'm now 3 months pregnant. We found out about a month ago and have been over the moon ever since. The journey to get here wasn't easy, especially considering everything that happened, but we're so excited to start this new chapter of our lives together. We decided to have a small gathering to announce the pregnancy to our closest friends, including Caroline. It was a beautiful moment, filled with joy and tears, mostly happy ones, and some hormone-induced ones on my part. Caroline's reaction was particularly touching. She hugged us both tightly and whispered how happy she was for us. I could see in her eyes that her happiness was genuine, without a trace of the envy or resentment that might have been there 6 months ago. Speaking of Caroline, she's made remarkable progress. She recently celebrated 6 months of sobriety, and the change in her is astounding. She's more confident, grounded, and genuinely happy than I've seen her in years. Her commitment to therapy and AA has paid off, and she's become an inspiration to others in our friend group who are struggling with similar issues. Caroline has also thrown herself into her career with renewed vigor. She recently started her own graphic design business and is already gaining a reputation for her innovative work. She told me that focusing on her passion and her recovery has given her a sense of purpose she never had before. What's been most heartening is seeing the evolution of Caroline's relationships, not just with Anthony and me, but with herself. She's learned to be comfortable being single and has stopped defining her worth by her relationship status. She's even started mentoring other women in her AA group, sharing her story to help others on their journey to recovery. Anthony and Caroline have managed to rebuild a friendship, albeit one that looks different from before. There's a new level of respect between them, born from the difficult conversations and hard work it took to move past what happened. They're not as close as they once were, but there's a genuine warmth in their interactions now. As for Anthony and me, this experience has ultimately strengthened our relationship. We've learned the importance of clear communication and setting boundaries, not just with others but with each other. We've started a tradition of monthly check-ins where we discuss any concerns or feelings we've been having, ensuring we're always on the same page. Our friend group has largely returned to normal, though there's definitely been a shift in dynamics. We're all more open with each other now, more willing to discuss difficult topics and support each other through challenges. In a way, this experience has brought us all closer together. Looking back, I'm amazed at how much has changed in just 6 months. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I can see now how it's led to growth and positive changes for all of us. It's taught us the importance of honesty, both with ourselves and with others. It's shown us the strength of true friendships and the resilience of the human spirit. As we move forward, I'm filled with hope for the future. For Anthony and me as we prepare to become parents, for Caroline as she continues her journey of self-discovery and growth, and for our friendships which have weathered this storm and come out stronger.